Okay, so this video went crazy viral the past few days. There was a Korean American influencer. His name is Stone Park, and he is the most ghetto. Like, if you want to think about a caricature of the most ghetto, wannabe black ghetto Asian ever, like this guy is it. And so he was in Pyeongtaek in Korea, which is south of Seoul, where there's a military base there, and he was filmed. He was shown beating up American servicemen on the streets of Pyeongtaek. Watch this. So he knocks out one serviceman. The guy just out cold. And this guy's drunk out of his mind. Threatening a girl that's with him. Now he's filming the other guy. Bro, like... And look at him. He's just dancing now. He starts twerking and humping the floor. Really great stuff coming out of this guy. Okay, that's just disgusting. He's drunk out of his mind. Now, obviously, you shouldn't do this in Korean society. One thing I'll say is that other American serviceman, what an absolute, I don't even know what to call him. He's a pussy. Like, sorry, excuse my French, but he's a pussy. Well, his friend just got knocked out cold, and his response is just cower in fear. Really? That's the caliber of the U.S. servicemen that we hired? This is literally the product of DEI. This is what we're saying. We lower standards to allow for people to, whoever they want, like seriously, whoever wants to be in the military, just become part of the military. They don't have to be strong. They don't have to be courageous. Just these limp-wristed rats just cowering in fear at this random stranger who knocked out your friend. Oh, don't hurt me. Oh, come on, man. Come on. What are we doing here? Now, obviously, you're not allowed to commit acts of violence in public in Korea, so he started getting arrested. But listen to what he says while he's getting arrested. It's actually kind of funny.
money. Yeah, cause never been broke. Never been broke.
Look who around me.
Okay.
These niggas trying to arrest me for having money.
It's just so unbecoming.
Why you abusing me, bro? Why you abusing me, bro? That racist.
You're racist.
That racist. Hey, I'm the Korean George Floyd, nigga.
He did say nigga. That was kind of crazy. That was crazy, guys. He did say
Damn,
nigga.
y'all be hurting me.
Hurting him.
I'm George Floyd, boy.
Yeah.
I'm George Floyd,
No,
boy.
I'm George Floyd, bro.
He need to go. He need to go.
What?
You got that money, though.
I do got that money.
You got that money,
I
though.
do, unlike George Floyd. Hey, George Floyd was broke, but I got the money.
George Floyd was
I
broke,
got the money.
but I got the money.
You know I got the money. Yo, they trying to arrest me. They ain't never gonna get me. They ain't never gonna get me. They ain't never gonna get me.
All right, so yeah, you see him getting arrested. Just hilarious. Okay, I think that's enough. You guys get the idea. It is just absolute low-class, repulsive ghetto behavior. Now, a few things to note. You notice that he's black looping. We covered black looping previously on this program. Black looping is when very low IQ ghetto people constantly say the same phrase over and over and over and over and over again because they don't know how to articulate what they're feeling. And the only thing that they're thinking and the only thing going through their brain is the same phrase to express their, I guess, for the lack of better terms, animalistic outrage. He's on the ground. They're abusing me, man. They're abusing me, man. They're abusing me. That's racist. That's racist. That's racist. And he says, I'm the Korean George Floyd. George Floyd. And he's like, George Floyd was broke, but I got the money. George Floyd, George Floyd. There's just this constant black looping. And then you hear in the black background, too, you hear black women egging on this kind of behavior as well. Hey, hey. It's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? It is an absolute embarrassment to Koreans worldwide. there's a very popular phrase that people say that you can't judge a book by its cover. I think you can. He has his tattoos all over his body. He looks absolutely unkempt. Doesn't take care of himself. Just drugged and drunk out of his mind. Yes, you can actually judge a book by its cover. He's someone that you wouldn't want typically in Korean society, just in civilized society. But that's one thing. But second, it is so repulsive when Asians try to act like ghetto blacks. Like, what are you doing? It's like, Nina Lin. Nina Lin is a perfect example of this too. What you want? like, what are we doing? It is so repulsive. It is so unbecoming of an East Asian to try to adopt the most dysfunctional parts of the black community. These are parts of the black community that even conservative and Christian blacks denounce because it's so ghetto. There's this pastor, his name is Pastor Manning. He's a great pastor. I believe he's a pastor in East Harlem. He's so funny. I love his clips. But yeah, he's like, yeah, these people are completely unhinged. So this is a culture, even among normal, well-adjusted black people, that is denounced. And then you have these Asians like Stone Park and Nina Lin adopting it. It is so disgusting. And then you have black women on the sideline. Oh, hey, good. Yeah, you go for it. Oh my gosh. This is why I speak out against ghetto culture so much. Because it is so destructive. It is so repulsive. It is actually revolting. It is something that you look at and you're like, it's disgusting. That we shouldn't want that kind of culture in our communities, in our cities, in our country. There's nothing good that comes out of it. There really isn't. They're just violent. They're unhinged. They have low impulse. They do whatever they want and just completely act like a maniac in public. That's not what we should want. We want clean streets. We want an orderly society. And so one thing that Koreans have to know about this, and just people in general, like, we have to understand that this ghetto culture will infect everyone and anyone. Like, we cannot be on the sidelines saying, hey, that's just a difference in culture. That's just the way that they want to live their lives. No, we have to all be vocal and vigilant against this because it infects everyone. And right now, in online culture, people who adopt this kind of mannerisms and this behavior, they get elevated. Look how popular Nina Lin is. Everyone hates her, but she has a huge following. This guy probably too also has a huge following. Look at all the money that he was waving in the officers' faces. We have to be vocal and vigilant against this, or else it'll spread like a freaking virus. It's worse than COVID-19, man. And so we see all of this, and Koreans, I get what their temperament is, and a lot of Koreans are very like mild-mannered and chill. But the thing is, we have to be much harder against crime in Korea. And in the same way that America is going very soft on crime in cities, Korea too is getting way too lenient and soft on crime. So you guys know Johnny Somali. I was there for his sentencing verdict 2 months ago when I was in Korea. And so he appealed for a leniency, and the prosecutors appealed for maximum 3-year sentence. And so my friend, Legal Mindset, he was there. They just had the appeals this past week, and actually today, and this is what happened. So the 6-month sentence for Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, was upheld in Seoul, South Korea by a 3-judge appellate court consisting of 2 male judges and 1 female judge. His 6-month sentence was neither lengthened nor shortened, rejecting both the prosecution and defense's respective arguments for aggravation or leniency. Ramzi may appeal to the Korean Supreme Court, which I don't know if he will. Maybe he will. Maybe he's desperate. But both the prosecution and Johnny Somali were rejected. Their appeals were rejected. But the thing is, they should have gone with the prosecutors. They should have upheld the appeals of the prosecution because why? 6 months is not enough. He needs 3 years. You need to send a strong message to nuisance streamers that you're not going to allow this in Korean society. But this is not just with nuisance streamers. This happens with drugs, with violence, with rape, with any sort of violent crime or just destructive behavior in society, Korea is becoming more and more lenient. And politically speaking, the politician who runs on judicial reform in Korea will get massive support. Every single Korean is sick and tired. They are sick and tired of the leniency of the Korean courts. How do I know this? Well, people are pissed about the Johnny Somali verdict. They're saying it's not enough. Every single Korean is saying it's not enough. 6 months is not enough for how he disrespected Koreans and he hurt Koreans and was completely a maniac and psychopath in public. But also, how do I know this? There's a drama right now. There's an action drama right now called Teach You a Lesson. It's called 참교육 in Korean. And it is the number one action drama. It is the number one drama right now, not only in Korea, but worldwide. And so the premise of this drama is that there is a new government agency created in the Ministry of Education. It's called the Educational Rights Protection Bureau. And it's a bunch of really badass agents going around and using whatever measures necessary, whether it's physical discipline, whether it's psychological discipline, to instill order in classrooms again and to reform schools once again. It is quite possibly the most right-wing media coming out of Korea ever. Like genuinely ever. The premise is that you're reinstating order in society, especially in the education sector. Now, why is that important? Because Korea has become so soft. It's become way too soft. Where right now, in Korean schools, the parents and the children control everything. The teacher cannot, they can't stand up for themselves, really. That if they're enduring psychological abuse, verbal abuse, even like physical abuse from students and parents, that the teacher just have to take it because the parents and the child come first. Now, that might seem okay in principle, but the reality is people abuse that. Koreans are smart. Okay, so if you allow for a system where parents and students can get away with anything because they're protected under the law, meanwhile, teachers have to endure the brunt of everything. Yes, of course, there's going to be people who take advantage of that. And that's what's happening in Korean society. It's not as bad as a lot of American classrooms with the hooligans. But there's a lot of Korean classrooms now with young men, young boys who don't have a good, like they don't have discipline administered in the home because their fathers and their mothers are too busy working and doing their own thing and living their own lives. And so they're rowdy, they're disrespectful, they don't obey their teachers. And so it's an inverse. It's an inverse. And in that drama, there's a line they say if a child becomes like more powerful, I'm butchering, but it's like basically if a child becomes more powerful than the teacher, then everything goes to crap. Essentially, I know I'm butchering it, but this drama understands, and it's from a webtoon, a very popular webtoon, which is controversial too, by the way. But it understands the proper order and hierarchy of things in order to preserve order in society, to have healthy members of society and a civilized society. That's what it's all about. And so this is the most popular because right now school violence is ramping up in Korea, drug use, and collapsing faculty authority. Teachers don't have any authority over children again, their students again. So what happens as a result? Yeah, you're going to have very depressed and very, very, very suicidal teachers who are discouraged. And you're going to have a very dysfunctional society where children become the head and everything the child wants, you have to acquiesce to as the teacher, but also the parent. That's backwards. That's not how you run a society. That's not how you raise children. They have to be under the authority of an adult properly. So all that being said, that's the most popular. That's the most popular drama right now in Korea and worldwide because there's a hunger for right-wing ideology to make a comeback in society. Why? Because right-wing ideology is just reality. It is just goodness, truth, and beauty applied to society, applied to life, and to understand the reality of things and state it plainly. And there's a huge hunger for that. So whoever's listening, if there's any Korean politician or any Korean right winger or Korean in Korea listening to this, this is what we have to understand. That one of the ways that you change and better Korean society right now is to bring back harsher punishments for criminals and those who wreak havoc in society. And to be okay with having stricter punishments and proper authority instated in schools again. That message will resonate with the Korean people because so many Koreans see this problem. Yet no one is doing anything to address it. Instead, Korean politicians, they bicker with one another and they get nothing accomplished. So do not be like the Stone Park dude. Do not be ghetto. Stop trying to assimilate and adopt the most dysfunctional parts of American culture. It's very unbecoming. And yeah, we don't like to see that. So on behalf of the Korean community, I disavow Stone Park. Please do not be like this guy. And I do wish and pray that Korea becomes more, they really rule more with an iron fist against criminals and against just like psychopaths like this. Because no tolerance. We should have no tolerance for this kind of behavior in society.